Você toparia largar o emprego para criar uma consultoria focada em dados e AI em 2014? Pois foi exatamente isso que o nosso convidado do episódio de hoje fez. Acompanhe agora esse episódio imperdível sobre empreendedorismo, tendências, visão de negócios e muito mais com Vincent LucIAni, CEO global e cofundador da Artefact, no Data Circle Podcast.
Bem-vindos e bem-vindas ao Data Circle Podcast, nosso podcast sobre AI e negócios, onde a teoria encontra a prática.
Salve, salve, membros do Data Circle, a nossa comunidade que une a tecnologia com os negócios. Estamos aqui para mais um episódio do Data Circle Podcast. Ninguém aguenta mais eu falar que os episódios são especiais, com convidados especiais, mas hoje, de fato, é especial. É o primeiro episódio que a gente tem plateia. Quem está ouvindo no Spotify, logicamente, não está vendo, mas no vídeo vocês podem ver. E a gente está aqui hoje com Alex. E aí, Alex? Como você está hoje para o episódio?
Como sempre, super animada.
O André. Tudo bom, André?
Pessoal,
André
beleza?
Fonseca.
Mais uma vez.
Exato. E o nosso convidado super especial, que eu já falei previamente aqui, é o Vincent LucIAni, CEO global da Artefact. E hoje, seguindo o número de coisas especiais que a gente vai mudar para o inglês. Então, se você está assistindo o vídeo, você vai conseguir acompanhar pela legenda. Se estiver só ouvindo, é uma boa oportunidade de treinar o inglês. So, I'm going to switch to English.
Too bad.
Hi, Vincent. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, nice for having me. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Nice. And Vincent, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, your path through your career until you create Artefact, the motivation. So we are going deeper in these topics, but you feel free to introduce yourself.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the public for being with us today. So I'm Vincent, 39, CEO and founder of Artefact. I created Artefact 10 years ago, and I guess this is why I'm here today. I'm an engineer by training. So I studied a lot of math and a lot of science. So I love science. I love entrepreneurship, and I love being with inspiring people. So I think it's one of my key aspects. I love my family as well. So I have two daughters, and I'm very always a bit sad when I'm not with her. I love sport, and maybe we can talk about this after.
Yeah, sure.
And yes, I guess it's a bit about me today.
Yeah, nice, Vincent. And like to introduce the thema, and we are here talking every time about entrepreneurship, about data, about business, and joining every topic like this together in order to create something and tell about these topics with the people. And today, I think we can start about your motivations. What was motivating you, and why did you decide to be an entrepreneur and to found Artefact 10 years ago? And this idea of joining consulting and tech, how does this idea came up?
Okay. Do you want the real version of the storytelling?
You can tell us both.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell the storytelling, and now I can start with the real version if you want. So I started my career in a company called McKinsey, and the reason why I started at McKinsey is because in my career you always try, there is a point where you think about what you want to do, and there is a logical steps. So I started doing all the logical steps without asking myself any questions, right? So I did my high school, I tried to do the best possible in math. Then I went to a system which is called in France école préparatoire, which was very selective. Then I did a very good engineer school. So I never asked myself. And so all the best, in this school, they were going to like consulting or finance back in the time. So I just like follow the flow. Mm-hmm. And after a few years, starting my career in this consulting firm, I was really, really sad. Because I was not accomplished. I think I was, a bit sad of not using technology enough, because I did like all this in big engineering school, and like being just after all this study, just using all this intelligence to produce slides was not enough for me, you know. So I was very sad not using technology, and I was also a bit sad, you know, to not being entrepreneur enough. You know, in this like big firm, it's like very top down. There is no big room for imagination. You follow what you've been asked to. And some of the people around me were not, you know, inspiring enough. So basically, and I met my co-founder Guillaume at McKinsey, and both of us were, you know, sharing a bit the same vibes, a bit, you know, doing what we have been asked to, but not really, I was saying, interested by what we do. And we decided to quit together and to create Artefact. A bit, you know, drunk one night. So we took the decision like that. And we didn't have clearly in mind what Artefact could become. You know, back in the time, it was 10 years ago, there were not like such a thing like AI. So data, AI came after. But we felt the opportunity, you know. At McKinsey, I was producing huge reports on what could be big data in 2025, you know. It was 15 trillions of US dollar in 2025. I say, okay, let's try to win 1% of that. It would be enough, you know. And so we felt the opportunity, and this is how we launched. And my vision in technology is really not to have too much vision, but really to adapt. And I think what I try to do, and I still believe in that, is, you know, to follow the vibes, to follow the technological flow. GenAI today, we do a lot, right? But a few years ago, no one could have, you know, imagined to do GenAI. So it's the ability to adapt, I think, that drive Artefact, not the vision. So I didn't have the vision, but I wanted to go in that direction, I would say.
Maybe that's the vision.
Maybe the vision. I always say when people ask me, the vision is not to have a vision, you know. And I believe that.
One thing that you said, I completely correlate, is that we are created to have, as I said, a path. So if you want to be a good student, you have to study specific things.
Yeah.
Then you do the test, you go great, awesome. You go to next year, so on and so forth. And I think this is kind of a drug, you know, like you keep consuming.
Exactly.
And then consulting give you exactly the same, but in the adult life, right? So I really correlate, because when I was also in another consulting company in Accenture, I felt exactly the same. Life must be more than that, and I feel that we could create more. And in Latin, I think more or less the same, same path. I have no vision in terms of what it could be. Actually, I think, as you said, if I try to imagine everything that we built now, my brain couldn't do it. You know, like I have no capacity to do it. So I completely just to say that I feel the same. It's very, very similar. That's nice. Nice to hear.
And Artefact has a very specific or special way of dealing with business, which is joining business and technology. And that's behind of that is your motivation, not doing slides and just delivering slides, but delivering technology as well. And how do you think it is the positioning of Artefact inside the industry, inside the tech, inside the business? How does Artefact position itself, and why is that an advantage of Artefact in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think I correct with that. So when I coming back to McKinsey, I think what they do very well is to understand the business problems, and this is key, because at the end, technology is a mean, but you don't build technology for technology, right? So to be able to understand the business problem still is the biggest, thing you need to have in mind. But now I think the way to solve this problem, what we do now and what was the case 20 years ago or 15 years ago, is completely different. You have many more technology that you can use. And I think, and I do believe that one of the strengths of Artefact is to be able, to be a specialist in this field. Okay. And I think like data and AI, you need specialists, because today the jobs are huge. You cannot do everything by your own. So you need to have data scientist, data engineer, machine learning engineer, data architect, data ops, DevOps, FinOps. It's very complicated. So even for one company like us to be able to have all these jobs is super complicated. So if you don't focus on that, it's not possible. The second thing is, even, if we deliver the technology for the client, the ability to know the right algorithm, the ability to, know the data model, the ability to know which, technology to use in which case is very, very difficult to acquire. We live in a world where technology is everywhere, but it's almost free. What I always say is that AI is becoming a commodity, right? What is not becoming a commodity is to be able to understand the business problem and deliver the right technology to build that. And I think what we do great at Artefact, it's very, very strong differentiator for Artefact, is the ability to connect the two worlds, the business world and the technological world. And this is real strength of Artefact today.
No, I agree. Also, another word that I use to explain that is translation. I think we are very good in understand business problems and translate that in the data and AI products that solves that. So, completely agree.
And one point is also, this is one point, because we are a service company, we are not a product company. We are not starting from the solution, I think. We know a bit all the kind of solution that there is, but we are starting from the problem. And then from the problem, we're going to see, okay, there is a diverse way to do, and we're going to do the pros and cons, and we'll be able to advise you on this path.
Yes, and I think this is very important. And a lot of people ask me, why have you not decided to sell license software? And I think one have been very challenging for me when I created Artefact is to decide the right hedge between technological consulting or a software company. And I've always, tried to find the right balance. Because on one direction, if you build we build software every day, right? So you have some kind of a temptation to sell it, to resell it. But I think this brings a lot of constraints as well, right? Because you need to maintain the solution, you need to provide SLA. So it's very tricky. On the other direction, sometimes you feel that you are way more than just a service provider because you build this technology. But it's also good to be independent. You can pick the technology you want. You are very, very linked to, the big company producing text. So you don't have a legacy. You can switch technology very easily that you cannot do if you're a software company. So I try, to find also the balance between a software and consulting. And again, back in the time 10 years ago, when I created, there was only two separated worlds. One was very clear, was the consulting world, no tech. Second one was software, but the world of software was selling SaaS products. And I think there is a path in between where you provide a lot of technology. But today, especially in AI, this technology, a lot is free because there is open source. A lot belongs also to the cloud provider. And at the end, the value is not in the algorithm. It's more in the data of the client. So if you sell technology, it's a bit weird because at the end, the client owns it, right? So I think our positioning is really in the middle of both. And the value comes when you integrate this technology with the client and you give it to the client. So I think this is how we position today as well.
Yeah, in the end, we Artefact solves problems, business problems, and creates software as well. But solves business problems by developing software and mixing the both worlds together.
And giving IP to the client as well. Because I believe, especially in AI, that it's important for the client to internalize the capabilities. Okay, because today it's like very easy. Everyone can sell AI. You have GPT. You put what we call a wrapper on top of GPT, and everyone can say. I think there are thousands of startups today that pretend to do AI, but it's super easy. What is not easy is to take. So the algorithm today is almost free, right? The cost is almost zero. But if you take that and you integrate with the client, which is exactly what we do, this is where you have a big value, right?
Perfect.
And you keep your competitiveness.
Yes, because the competitiveness comes with AI plus data. And this is exactly what we do because we clean the data and we plug with AI. And this is exactly
in the end, the main box that are being developed right now are mainly use cases from APIs. Like they are not products by themselves, but only integrations with APIs from ChatGPT or products that are already developed, and they like sell it as it would be a product. But to be a product, you need much more than that. And that's why integrating with the ecosystem from the client is much more important than the technology itself. And So we have also here in this table a very interesting history, which is the creation of the Brazil office back in 2018.
Yes.
And I would like to know from your point of view, Vincent, how did you came to the idea as well to create an artifact from France here in Brazil? Why did you decided to do that? And also to link this history with the history.
I don't want to check if I'm lying when I tell the story.
Again, do you want the real version or the Turing version? No, I think it was an opportunity. Again, everything we do at Artefact is we test a lot, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. In Brazil, it was, I think, a huge success thanks to you guys. But it's not, again, my vision, okay? It's so all started with the opportunity from some clients. We had some clients, Samsung, for example, which we were operating from Brazil, Sanofi. Yeah. And so we had, so I think it was 2018 or 2018. Yes. I went to a workshop with a client, and I asked myself, why not, doing a bit more? Because we were operating from France, right? Mm-hmm. And back in the time, in the history of Artefact, before that, just 1 year before, we bought a company called NetBooster, and they have just shut down the Brazilian office because the ex-CEO went away with the cash. By the way, guys, you still need to show me.
Fine.
And so everyone was afraid about Brazil. But I said, okay, let's try again. And I did a couple of meetings, and I met André, and we said, okay, let's try. And honestly, it was a test for André, it was a test for me, it was a test for Artefact. And I never regretted it. But again, the way we consider business is testing opportunities, not being afraid to stop if it's not working, not being afraid to invest if it's working. In some countries, we tested it, it did not work. In Brazil, for some reason, André is going to explain to us why. You work very, very well. And I think it's a huge success. I'm super proud of our LATAM office today. LATAM office is the fastest growing office all over the 27 offices at Artefact. So it's a huge success. The NPS has been the greatest NPS of all time. Sometimes I just want to know, I would ask people, how you feel your NPS, but this is amazing. Clients are super happy. I think it's very impressive, but it's your success, it's not mine. I think for me, it's now you will also teach us how, to improve, because now you are, I would say, not independent, but going your own way, and we need to learn from you as well, right?
Yeah, and it's we were talking about this yesterday. I was 100% sure you would never call me back, because as I told you, you asked me, do you know about DMP and technology? I say, man, I'm a strategic consulting. I know about business, people, but those things not much. And your answer always it's very. Very good to hear, you say, transparency, right? Was the big thing. So I think in that day we started a nice friendship, mainly history. So when we were in France a few months ago, you said that, right? Right now, Artefact's about making all of those good stuff we do, but with friends. So it's about friendship. So this is something that I always bring with me as well.
Yeah, there is a French philosopher that say it's better to have a good brain than a lot of knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the exact translation, but this is the idea. No. And the fact that you said, I know nothing, because I did 10 interviews, and they all pretend that they knew a lot of things. So honestly, I did not know much, but I know enough to be able to challenge, Mm-hmm. So I met a greatest McKinsey partner of all times, and the guy was full of lies and bullshit. And André was the only one to be very honest and say, okay, we're on the same boat. We don't know much. Let's try, And I've always believed it's better to invest in smart people than people that know everything. I think one of the key pillars of Artefact is the transparency and honesty. I think be able to say when we don't know, it's a great quality. Fairness, and I think everything is based on trust, right? It's also based on letting people, try. What we do in Brazil is a bit different from what we do in Europe, which would be different from what we do in US. So I have some kind of a data mesh, idea in mind when I govern Artefact. So we decide a bit the key principles. So we focus on data and AI. We hire nice people, not sharp people. We create a community of people that, inspire themselves. But I always, let people also organize the way they want, and I don't want to be too intrusive. And I think Andre was exactly in this philosophy, and the LATAM team is exactly in this philosophy. So to me, it was also important to trust the people and to let, Andre and the LATAM office, and Alexandra, you join 1 year after, develop the way they wanted to do.
And so right now that you are here and you are like talking with the people from LATAM office and seeing a little bit of our way of life here in the office, what do you think it's good to bring from here to France? And what would
no home office.
You guys, I think you guys are crazy. Huh? Honestly, I really don't know. Você son fado, as you say? Vocês. Honestly, you have a secret recipe. I don't know what we can reuse. Maybe your Artefactory, right?
Yeah.
This, yes.
Yes.
But I don't know. You have a secret recipe. So many things that surprise me that will not work, in France. Like the full remote. I think this again, it was hard to me because I don't believe at all in that model. But it's working so well. I'm a very pragmatic person, so it's working very well. So I've never challenged Andre. I do a lot of joke about that, but it's working very well and people are very happy. So this I will never challenge, but I think it's something we will have like difficulty to implement. We'll come back to that, but the way you integrate diversity is really impressive. Not sure I could, replicate. So I think it's more, there are things we need to be inspired. So clearly you're aware in terms of creating a healthy environment of work, welcoming people from like a bit everywhere. I think your tech capabilities, and I'm very happy that Vitor accepted, to lead the data engineering chapter. I think we need to learn from all these good aspects from you. Again, it's not top down, right? It has to be done with like chapters. It has to be done with certain industries. For example, you guys are very good in some industry use cases. We don't do that much in other countries. So the way I think, so my job is to create the condition of sharing. So we'll share through global chapter, we share through global industries, we share through these kind of things. And I think it has to spread, right? But I'm very keen on, learning more about MPS, how you create this, like very cool, vibe. But maybe it's also the culture of Brazil. I'm not sure we can replicate in Europe. People in Europe, they need to be stressed, otherwise they don't feel their work.
No, but yes, it's hard to replicate that. We were talking about this as well. Culture, like the values. There's, of course, universal values, but there's a few things. It's completely different. And as you said, what we have to create is the conditions to people build what they want, what they like, and then the proper ways to work, to build, to be great, huh? And then the rest is just happens. Huh?
One thing that we can explore a little bit more is like this challenge that you just mentioned, to keep the values across the world. So Brazil and Latam is one office, France is another, but there are several others like China,
Mina,
Dubai, Saudi,
US, United States and stuff like that, UK. And how do you manage to have these values and guarantee that the values from Artefact Global are followed by the other offices with huge cultural differences from one office to another?
But I think we need to accept is diversity. We need to accept diversity also in the way people they understand values, right? So the way I see that, there is some kind of a common denominator, right? We try to recruit nice people, not shark people. We try to be in an environment where we share ideas and not retain ideas. We are doers, not more doers than thinkers. So it's very important to produce and to see that people use things, right? This kind of things. So I try, when I build the value, I try to define a bit this common denominator, right? For the rest, I really believe in cultural differences. I give you an example. For you guys in US and LATAM, on the diversity aspect, you can't, you have like, you can have quotas, for example. You can have you can do a count of ethnies or specific choices, cultural choices. This in Europe, in France, it's against law, for example. So this I could never, accommodate. So I think we need also to accept cultural differences. It's very important. I come from also myself, my family. I come from different background, different origin, and I've always, accepted that people have different way to express their own culture and their own personal opinion. Sometimes people, they like to share the political opinions. Sometimes people, they don't. And it's very important to respect it. So I really don't want top-down. I don't believe in top-down for this kind of thing. I don't want to apply everything for everyone. I just think we need to align on what is important. But it's also, sharing and being transparent. It's also to be able to accept when we disagree. Okay. For example, remote, I kind of disagree. But I also accept because it's working. And this level of trust and transparency and accepting when people kind of disagree, because we have different opinion, different origin, different culture, it's also very important. It's part of our DNA, I think.
Agree.
So diversity and cultural differences are okay and welcome, let's say, but the values, so the big values behind it should be respected as well.
But the way people interpret the value could be different. For example, if I say, if it's not shared, it's not done. Maybe for you guys, it means that, at the end of every workshop, you will send an email to everyone to say, okay, this has been decided. Maybe you will do, video conference to say, okay, these are the rules of Artefact, whatever. In China, maybe they would do something different, right? In France, they interpret it in a way that, they feel a lot the no platform, for example, which is a knowledge platform of Artefact, right? So I think, to me, the way people interpret the value are really, really personal. But I really think sharing is important. So if you're against sharing, we have a problem. But the way you will interpret that, and by the way, we check the value in the way we recruit people. We check the value in the way we promote people. So someone that is very protective about his work, is not sharing to everyone, will not get promoted as fast, probably not stay in the... Not at all, right? Yeah. So I think this is also because when we started the company, the first people we recruited were completely aligned with this vision, and they also interpreted the way they want, but at the end, they have the same value, right? I think we have the same value.
Nice. And so moving on the topics, I would like to introduce here the idea of AI in the future. Like, I know that you have, an interesting vision about AI in the next years.
I'm not sure. Yeah, my vision is that I have no vision. I always say, honestly, the guy who detected generative AI 2 years ago, they can raise their hand. I was absolutely not able to detect Gen AI. And everyone speaks about Gen AI today. Like, everyone knew about Gen AI. No one knew about Gen AI. Let's be honest, right?
2 years ago, we had a lot of metaverse experts. Huh?
Voilà.
Where are them? Huh?
Yeah.
Now,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So honestly, let's be honest. No one knew about Gen AI. And there will be Gen AI 2, Gen AI 3, we'll call it whatever AI. No one is able to predict the future, right? Because it's exponential. Because what you use today, AI now is you use AI to build the next AI. So it's going faster and faster. So no one can predict what will be in 1 year, 2 years. Maybe it will be like a super AI. Maybe it will be very specialized AI. So I think what we can do is prepare the company to react fast. What we cannot do is predict what will happen in 2 years.
To be flexible.
Yes.
But yeah, okay.
Coming back to my vision.
Let's not coming back to your vision,
So
which is
I
not
keep
having
your flow.
vision. For 2025, let's say. That's not that far away, so we can have a little vision about that. What is your vision about 2025 in the terms of AI? What would be your expectations and bets?
Yeah, big bets.
Well, usually I ask the tech to answer for me, but I will try to make some sharing. But first, what I see is that there is a huge gap. Again, coming back to the root cause of Artefact. When I created Artefact, there was a huge gap between digital marketing, data marketing, and client what they were doing. Because I forgot to say we started with marketing, right? The data and marketing was super important. Now what I see is that there is a huge gap between Gen AI, what we can do with Gen AI, and what the companies are actually doing. So to me, already deploying what is available is amazing. So today, I think that companies have only did 1% of what they can do. So let's try instead of pushing, the limits of innovation or the next research. I believe in that, but I think first deploying what exists today is already huge, and then maybe let's try to go to the next things as well. So I think it's already and very pragmatic. Already deploying this is already a big step, and then for what will happen next. First, in Europe we are a bit late because with law, with AI Act, GDPR. All this platform now, so you will tell us, you guys will be ahead of Europe because there is many things like the latest OpenAI, the latest, Meta, the latest Apple AI you have access to it, but in Europe we don't. So you will tell us a bit, but I think it will, the big changes will come from, first, above the text, everything which is video, we see a huge increase. And I think this will be amazing what we will do with video, images and video. Text, sound. I think in a few years, everything I say will be immediately translated into Portuguese without any problem. So I expect, to see more multimodal things. I expect also to see probably less. The costs are down. It will continue to go down, right? So people will use it more and more, but it will be like zero. I think the cost will be zero. It's very, very fast, right? So I expect like more, pilots will be launched and like more like small specific model will be deployed. And for the rest, honestly, let's focus on what is already available because there's so much technology which is available that it's impressive.
Now, we were talking earlier as well. What is your view about jobs like labor? Because I know it's a cliche, but I think it's nice because we are in the field. So I think it's important for people to hear from people like us as well. What do you think about it? Like, because when we talk about technology, this has been going through like 100 years. Do you think Gen AI will replace a lot of jobs? How do you think this is going to evolve?
Well, but it's very honestly, this question I think is an old question, and we should not even have any doubt about it. I'm very clear on what will not happen. So Gen AI or AI never will replace anyone, right? I think the studies are converging towards there will be very, very small percentage of people which will lose their job, right? So the way studies are built today on that, they take all the jobs and they cut the job into tasks. And they look into each task. Let's say I'm a doctor. So a doctor is doing diagnostic, but he's also, welcoming a patient. He's also, writing some prescription, listening to the heartbeat, whatever. So you take every task and you look into what is the percentage of this task you could automate, right? On average, it's 25%. It starts from 0. And it goes to sometimes 80, 90%. The way we see now the replacement is that if at least 70% of your tasks could be automated, the job is really at risk, okay? And today we estimate that maybe 4 or 5% of the total jobs are at risk. That means it's very limited. And it's a very more honest, I would say, way because I remember Oxford study in 2014. They said like maybe 40% of the job could be at risk. No, I think maybe 3, 4, maybe 5%. Okay, but in the same times, new jobs will be created.
Yeah.
Alors, for 2 reasons. First reason is that if you deploy AI, you are more productive. If you're more productive, you produce more. If you produce more, you need more people. So it's like a balance. In general, when you deploy and you automatize your process, you grow more, and so you recruit more. So the good thing is that, and the study has been done on digital technology, has been done on AI, has been done on Gen AI. Every time a company is deploying technology and automatizing, every time it's like recruiting. So there is a positive effect. And the second positive effect is evolution of research. We create new jobs that we don't know today because new industries, new businesses, but also within the existing company, new jobs as well. So I think it will have a double effect, right? So on average, this technology will produce jobs, even if for very specific industries, like in the movie, in the cinema, for example, you have people today that write subtitles. this, my friend, that may be at risk. Okay, but in general, it will produce jobs. So I'm very, very optimistic for the future regarding this technology.
Yeah. No, just go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, I think it was the CEO of NVIDIA who said this. Said exactly what you said. It's more or less 20-25% of your job that can be optimized thanks to to AI, let's say. And it's not AI who's going to replace you. It's the person who knows to use AI who might replace you. Okay, so you have to embrace it and not fight for it. Otherwise, it's the other guy who does it better than you who will do it.
And building on top of it, I think because all of those tasks is like more like machine-like tasks, right? Not human tasks, let's say. And we had to, before that, we had to do machine stuff, let's say. And I think we were very trained to do machine stuff. And of course, if we want to compete with the machine or the artificial intelligence, let's say, we're going to lose every time because technology is evolving. So, okay, now I'm going more of a philosophic, but I think now we're going to have to build more like the human intelligence, more the not machine learning, but human learning. I know we have been trying this in schools, blah, blah, but all of things. One of the things that I see we struggle with, people have hard time of asking questions, building the questions. So maybe what we're going to have to start discussing is not how to do it, but what to do, what would we imagine, how can we imagine the future, and then the machine will help us to be productive on building it. So I think you mentioned some gaps in the market. You use it to build Artefact. I think there's always also a gap in training, also things like that, of problem solving, asking questions, things like that we are not talking too much.
Yes, so this is an excellent topic. So I think it's regarding the topic of AI and education. So there have been a cool study published by Wharton 1 week ago. So what they did is that they took students that did not know how to code. Okay, they know a bit. Some knew a bit, some on Python. The other know average, right? And they did two groups. One, they were having, ChatGPT, and the other, they were having nothing. And the ones that have ChatGPT, they tried two things. One, they had the possibility to copy paste code. And the second subgroup, they were not able to copy paste, just answering some question. And what they found is that actually there are two ways to use this kind of tools. The first, subgroup that were able to copy paste ChatGPT, they were basically filling the test asked by the academy and just, putting the question and copying exactly the task given by ChatGPT. The other group, they were not able to copy paste. They were asking questions to make sure they understand. They were asking a better interpretation of the code. They were, trying to dig into that. And what they did after is that they take out ChatGPT and they did a second test. For the first test, absolutely, the two groups who had ChatGPT, they were performing like 30-40% higher. They answered way more questions. So it's no contest, right? So ChatGPT helps really. What they found after, they took out ChatGPT and they asked another set of questions. And what they found is that the first group was able to copy paste. They were absolutely not capable to answer any question. Whereas the second group was actually very, very good at understanding way more questions. So they found that actually way better than the third group who were not able to use ChatGPT at all. Right? What they found is that there are actually two ways to use these tools. One is you just copy paste and you don't ask any questions. So it's like, it's dumb, like it lowers the level playing field. The second one is you use it as a question, like almost some kind of a dialectic, like in the old Greek way.
Accelerating reasoning, let's say.
And you use self-criticism. You don't like copy-paste. You try, to elevate, and I believe this is the right way to do it, right? Because if you use it as a baseline and you try to question yourself, okay, is it the right way to use it? How can we do better? It will level the level of everyone because at the end, this tool, it's a baseline. So you need to go beyond. If you just copy paste, it will lower the level. So I think, it's up to us to decide.
Yes.
There are two possibilities. Either we just adopt it and we don't care. And it will, at the end, these tools are trained on what we have produced over the past 100 years. Everything which is digitalized, maybe 50 years. but it's the average of our knowledge. So if we just copy paste, the average will stay the same. But if we use it as a baseline and we try to go beyond, we'll progress. So I think we need to go in that direction. So there is a role, and I'm, working with some academy in France, to think about it. But there is a role in the way we teach that and how we help people, to deploy this, but to try to improve and to do self-criticism.
Very interesting, and that is exactly what another experiment that was done. It was like a game. I don't know if it was not chess, but I don't recall the name of the game that they used to perform the experiment. And they used one set of teams only with humans and another set of teams with machine learning algorithms to play the game, trained to play the game, and another set of groups with algorithms with people. And the algorithms beat the people, like the second group that I mentioned with only algorithms and only people. The algorithms were a little bit better than the people, but it was not that much. And but the third group was much better than they separately.
I think it's chess. In chess, it's exactly like that. So human plus machine beats human and machine.
Yeah.
In chess, it's exactly that because you combine tactics of AI and strategy of human. So if you bring the two, like some kind of left brain, right brain, it's not left brain, right brain, but it's best. So I think there is a nice combination. But don't forget that the chess player are like probably the most like advanced people in terms of brain and like this. So and they know, they've been playing with the machine for many, many years. They all know the story about Kasparov and Deep Blue. So they know how to use, they know exactly the way the algorithm have built. So we are very educated in chess. So we need to replicate the same way for the other. Because it's true, like today in competition, human plus machine beats human and beats machine. So and it's I think it's positive. Right?
It's like a sort of way that the human, which are much better than the strategy, can focus on the strategy while the machine, which is good on the tactics, make the tactics.
But in chess, 95% is tactics. So if you take a picture of a board, everyone will recognize, okay, this is 1956, this game with this game, they know everything by heart. Actually, since there is machine, the big, chess player, they think a bit differently, so they could focus more on strategy, which is, okay, I need to go to this part of the game to develop this. And this is completely new. And it opened up, so AI and machine learning, algorithm in chess have opened up a new way to work in chess. And now the level is way better than before. So it's actually one good, use of technology to improve, the level. So we should follow chess, I think.
Nice. Yeah, it highlights the potential that the combination between humans and machine can.
Yes, it's a good example.
Yeah. So we also prepared some questions from the audience.
Only tough questions.
Tough questions.
Only.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And Pedro is the.
Tough questions. Huh?
Should I say in English?
Yeah, you can say in English.
And we can replicate here.
Yeah, you should replicate. So I think there are a few blocks. One is more for Vincent, like personal, and some others for Artefact in general. So for Vincent and for your perspective here, if there is anything you would do different today with your experience about the creation of Artefact.
Yeah, I'm going to replicate here just to record. If there is something that you would do differently in your path through creating Artefact, and what is the thing that you are most proud of in this challenge that you accomplished?
Well, no, I will not change anything.
But if you can time travel and talk with a 10 years younger Vincent, what would you say? Like cliche question, but I love it. So
no, I will start with the thing I'm proud. I think I'm very proud of the international culture of Artefact. The fact that we have so many offices, so many different cultures, I think it's something very cool. I'm always, very impressed, by everything we built. I'm very happy and proud of all the, I would say the partner, but like the leadership community, because I don't know everyone, but all the people I think I work with are very inspiration to me. And I think like what I did well is, not controlling everything myself, but like just giving freedom to everyone to do what they wanted to do. And I think this is something which works very well. So the culture, I like very much the culture. The fact that, there is some kind of a mix between entrepreneurship, like a bit sneaky, but not too much. This kind of things is really something I like very much. If I had to change something, is maybe, maybe take a bit more time for myself, because I work like crazy for the last 10 years. I think my wife helped me a lot because she took care of everything else, right? So maybe just take 1 more year, because it went super fast, and just a bit enjoy a bit more. So COVID helped me a lot. So because thanks to that, I had the ability to break. I started to code again. I retrain myself on machine learning. So I think it was a good break. But I think like just enjoying a bit more the flow, the fact that it's very cool. Not like I'm always being running on growth. Being the best, like beating all the others, I think also like chilling and just realizing what we do is great. Sometimes I'm not this kind of person like that look behind and just always look in front. I think what we've done at Artefact is just the very, very beginning, by the way. Maybe they have some question about the future. So it's also cool sometimes just to accept the present and to say, okay, it's cool and let's enjoy.
Enjoy the path.
Yeah.
Good.
And connected to this, to your first answer, what do you think we could do better to enhance global collaboration?
So, what do you think we could do better to enhance global collaboration?
Global chapters. It's for you, my friend. But again, I will tell you what's work.
Okay.
So Artefact has been built on specific countries' successes. You are an amazing example. Okay. And this, to me, I'm very happy with that. As you know, I'm not a disturbing person. I let you do what you want. And in general, I let you guys, express yourself. Let's say 2 years ago, I started to realize the importance of sharing more and creating a global community and some kind of a sharing environment. So what I did, I launched global industries, so global retail, global finance. Everything is not working, right? But I think it was a first start. So it was 2 years ago, and it helped to create global communities around industries. Second thing we did was last year is to start to launch global offers. Now we have a head of data platforms worldwide. We have more and more, global offers like data governance, AI, machine learning. And I think this is the second step. The thing I would like to develop more is global individual communities around skill set. And this, I think, it's a call for you. Huh? I think it's something I haven't managed to do yet. Honestly, a data engineer in Brazil, a data engineer in France, but a data engineer wherever should be a data engineer. And I'm not sure we share enough on this field. There are some countries that don't have enough tech people. Some countries are very advanced in one skill set, but not in the others. So I think I would like to share more global chapters, and something on my roadmap I haven't managed to do yet.
Cool.
Now talking a little bit more on the future of Artefact.
Vision.
Yeah.
I have no vision. No?
We have been evolving with our acquisition strategy. Is this something that should continue? And how do you see the impact of this in Artefact vision?
Just to replicate the question, we are developing on the acquisition strategy. And how do you see that as the next steps, and what's the importance of this strategy for the next years as well?
Bon, alors, first question is why it's important to grow. And the second question is how we grow. I think it's important to grow because as the industry matures, the more and more clients will need end-to-end skill sets, more people, advanced skills that you may not have if you're not big enough, multi-country proposition. So this is a very important call to be big, okay? Because what will happen in data and AI probably, let's say in 3, 4, 5 years, the same that happened in the digital world a couple of years ago. So a couple of years ago, there were a lot of very small agencies and they were way ahead, the big like Publicis, Havas, WPP, Omnicom, whatever, because they were not reactive enough, right? Few years after, what happened? They catched up, right? So Publicis catch up, WPP catch up. Now they have, and we see for our own media competition, it's very difficult to differentiate, okay? So clients, they buy because as they are like big opportunities, the costs are lower, they know a bit everything, so there is no more differentiation. It may happen the same in data and AI, and I don't want to be in a position where we've been catch up by other like big incumbents. Okay, so it's very important to be big fast. Okay, so I believe in growth for this specific. Okay, for all this, so I believe it's for two reasons. So one is like because our client will need like complete skill set. Second is that otherwise our competitors will have the possibility to do it. So we need to grow. How we grow? First, we grow organic. Okay, on average, Artefact 20, 25, 30. If you're Brazil, 100%. But you need to continue to grow organically because this is the way you create value as a shareholder. If you buy a company, it does not create the same value that if you just do it by yourself, right? Beyond this strategy, I think M&A is important. Okay, first because we can do it because now we are a big group. Second is that I'm very oriented towards diversity, different type of profile. And sometimes when you reflect too much on yourself, you forget that there is something else happening. This is the story of Nava and Elon Musk. They did a bit different the way you can shape rockets. And, now it's like completely destroying the rest of the aeronautic industry, right? Special industry. So I think it's important to welcome people a bit. You need to keep the same culture, but it's important to welcome people a bit from different horizons that brings something to you. So we just bought, for example, FXIS in Switzerland. FXIS, they have really the same culture, the same DNA. This is number one obligation. But they have maybe different offer, different type of client. And at the end, it's 1 + 1 = 3, right? So we'll continue this strategy. I think it's very niche. So we'll find, small communities of people here, maybe tomorrow in LATAM, maybe in Europe. So we are not focusing on a specific country. We are more focusing on a specific culture. So we want, the same DNA. We want like young people, entrepreneur, sharing. It's very important. Not, control. Things we believe, people that believe in our story. Yep. And this could only work. And I think it's a cool, ingredient of our strategy.
Yep.
And landing now in
LATAM. It's for you, André.
Yeah.
How do you see the future and more the role of LATAM office in the growth of Artefact?
It's for you, huh?
No, it's for you, André.
Yeah,
First you.
I
Me, I say it's important, and you answer the
Just
question.
repeating the question.
Okay, good.
And Alexandra as well, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Now it's up to you, my friend.
What do you see about the future of LATAM office and the role of LATAM office in the Artefact?
Yeah, and talking a bit about strategy, I think.
Vision.
Yeah, group-wise, Americas as a whole, has important. It's key for next steps, right? And I think LATAM has also a key role in the region in terms of growth. We collaborate a lot with the US, so I think our main role here is keep growing, of course, in a sustainable way as we do, sharing knowledge, as you said, with the group, as the same way we receive a lot of things, but also supporting the US to accelerate what they already do, because a strong economy, huge country, I think biggest opportunity for the group. So I think LATAM has a key role of supporting and accelerating what the US has to bring. So I think this is the main thing.
Yeah. No, but today I think I totally agree with what André said. I think also we are very complementary in terms of some industry that we have here in LATAM that can bring in the spirit of sharing, cool use cases to be replicated across the globe at Artefact. So I think what I like about the LATAM dynamic, we are really, we like innovation and we are really open to innovation. So I think we can be also a driver for some new cool stuff that could be escalated towards Artefact globally.
as Artefactory, as you said.
No, but to me, also to complement, to me, there are two ways to look into LATAM. There is LATAM for LATAM and LATAM for the rest of the group. So LATAM for LATAM, I think there is already a huge opportunity to grow in the region. So there is Brazil. I think we do maybe 1% of what we could do with the existing industry, and we could add industry, finance, retail, telco. We don't do. So maybe tomorrow we'll do more, right? And there is the rest of LATAM. Who knows, what we could do in the rest of LATAM. And then there is LATAM for the rest of the group. I think the criteria number one, you guys are probably maybe with France. It's not a competition. It's a bit of competition.
It's a health.
It's a healthy competition.
Yes.
Okay. But you need to be a driver of innovation. You need to be a driver of tech, because I think you are probably the greatest community of data engineer. You need to be a driver in offers. What you do, for example, you do optimizers. Here, you do very advanced things in supply chain we don't do in the other part of the group. So you need, and I think we don't spread enough this knowledge outside LATAM. So it's very important. And as you can see, it's also a driver to help US. But it's also up to US to see how they will work with you. But that's exact. I think with COVID, what happened is that after COVID, people, they were really interested in some kind of nearshore. And this is a concept that I heard after COVID, not before COVID, because it's the same time zone. So time zone one was wise. There is an opportunity to do that. I think the level of English will be important as well with LATAM, and I think sometimes it's a key challenge, and we need to continue to elaborate on that. You see my level of English, so it's not a great. So if I can do it, like everyone can do it. But I think it's important. But I think it's looking into the Americas in general is a great way to see. Voilà. But in general, I think in the future of Artefact, we grow by country, and maybe the next phase is to grow by region.
Yes.
So we have like LATAM will be a region, MENA will be a region, Africa, because we have Africa, will be a region, South Pacific Asia will be a region. Europe could be a region if it was not such a mess in Europe. US will be a region by itself, maybe with Canada, because voilà. So I think more in terms of region for the growth of tomorrow, and LATAM will be a very, very important region for Artefact tomorrow.
And to complement on this, is consolidating score of data in the region part of this strategy?
So just to repeat as well, is consolidating school of data in the region part of this strategy?
I think you need to explain a bit what is school of data.
Well, I don't know if consolidating is a word I would have chosen. I think, so my vision on school of data, so school of data is school when you learn data. It's a good definition. When I created school of data, I think my ambition number one was to recruit people. Because, we were in a shortage of talent, and there is still a situation where we're in a shortage of talent. So having the ability to train your own people is very key. Okay. The second thing was to train our clients, because what I saw is that when the clients are good, we do more business. It's counterintuitive, because you say, okay, sometimes when the clients are good, they push you out. No, that's not the case. The better they are, the more business you have with them. So it's very important. And the third was some kind of a social responsibility of Artefact. I believe a lot in our role as a society. With our size, I'm very, we will not change the world, but we have our role to play in helping people reskill, for example. In France, for example, we offer the formation to people that want to reskill themselves. I think it's very important. Okay, we need to play a social role as Artefact, and I think you guys in Brazil, as it's core in your DNA, it's core in your culture. You have also this role to play for the society tomorrow. There is a lot regarding, how you can make people who do not have, the best opportunities train on data and get a job. It's like crazy, because sometimes, there is unemployment in some areas, but that in data, there are crazy opportunities a bit everywhere. So I realized that with like maybe 6 months, 1 year training, you could completely change your life. So it's also something I would like to push more in Brazil. And we do that as well in the rest of the world. We deploy in Saudi, we deploy in UK, we deploy more and more in US as well. So it's something I want to replicate a bit everywhere. Andre, maybe you want
I want to complement. As we were discussing before, it's up to us, right, to fill this gap. Also, I feel, of course, I don't feel because I was not even born yet, but it's like 1983. and like Microsoft just released the Office, right? So like that changed it. And
It's like to compare Artefact with Microsoft.
Yeah. But like we'll get there. But and then that's technology that brought huge productivity, and still today there is schools teaching Excel things like that, right? And I think we are living this right now, and we have I don't know 5-8 billion people to train and more to come, because it will happen. So yeah, I do believe we have, as you know, almost a society obligation to do something, because we can, just because we can do it. In Brazil and in Latin, we have a lot of social barriers, things, that we could maybe use technology. Like maybe we don't have the best, sometimes the best teachers in some regions, because we don't. But now with Gen AI, for example, everyone could have a great teacher to learn, to evolve. So yeah, I agree. We have a social obligation on doing that. But talking about also business, yes, we want to not consolidate, but to more as a kickstart and to evolving more and more and focusing more next year. We already started, of course, to bring the School of Data, not only for B2B which we already do, but also for B2C, for everyone that wants to learn, change their lives regarding data, for our clients, but also for people that wants to change their lives. So this is more.
Just for the ones that might have been feeling a little bit lost here, School of Data is one offering from Artefact, which is, as the name say, School of Data, but is inside this consulting company which we are talking about since the beginning of the episode. So it's not something different, but something inside this company that we are developing, and we believe that is a huge opportunity to achieve our goals.
Yeah. Usually we don't talk that much about Artefact in our podcast, but here now that we have you
Since
as
it's a special episode.
special guest. Like I think
You were afraid of your bonus.
this is all about Artefact today. So for you that from the community that is seeing or hearing this episode, I think it's important to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah.
And make a final one. And again, it goes personal, but it connects with the future. What the 10 years old Vincent would like to do in the future, and what the 39 years old Vincent would like to do. So back then, what would you like to do, and now, what do you like to do?
Yeah, very interesting questions that our audience sent to us. But just to repeat here, what did the 10-year-old Vincent would like to do?
But back then,
Back then,
what was your thoughts
dream
back then?
Yeah, what was your dream since you?
What is this
And,
question about?
and what the 39 Vincent wants to do in the future. I can help you with the first one. For example, when I was 8 years old, I would like to be a fireman. You know?
No, it was
Sorry, I steal your answer.
Now I have to make some sense.
I applied to be a fireman a few years ago during COVID. Yes, I really love helping the community and being important, useful, I would say. When I was 10 years old, I wanted to launch rockets.
Okay.
And I also invested a few months ago in a rocket company. So maybe I would say the 10 years old Vincent wanted to do a lot of things around science, and I think he will be proud of the 13 year. Not 39, let's say 29 is good. It's a good age. The 29 Vincent. Coming back to the 39, I think the reason why I created, I would say, an open company, consulting company, is the curiosity. And I think I was very, very curious back then. I'm still very, very curious. And I think opening horizons of things we can do. This is the reason why I launched a research center. For example, we are investigating the possibility to do quantum computing at Artefact. We are investigating, new industries. we are investigating, new edge research because we have like PhDs coming to test like new opportunities in machine learning and AI. So the fact to, and I think what is important for us, it's like an obligation, is to stay very open and very curious and to try new stuff. Maybe quantum computing will not work, but at least, we need to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's also the responsibility of everyone, not to accept what we have today. Because again, what we do now has absolutely nothing to do with what we did like 3 years ago.
Yes.
So there is a necessity to connect to university, to research, to other industries, so that you can learn and try new stuff. So I think what is very important, and I will continue to do that, is to learn, to train, and to test many things. And I think curiosity is a great thing the 10 years old Vincent had and he still has. So I think I will try to develop curiosity again and again.
To be part of the evolution.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting that we can mention here, Alex mentioned in a former episode as well. Once we performed a questionnaire with people from Artefact, and we discovered that they are very different one from each other, except for curiosity.
Yeah.
And exactly the word that you mentioned here.
No, it's not only curiosity. I think the humility is a great thing we share with everyone. The fact that we like to share. We are not a political company, so there is no politics at Artefact whatsoever. So we like to share with everyone. The fact that we like to work as a group together, so collective. We are very like more like a soccer team rather than a tennis player, even if I like tennis. So collective, humble, sharing. I think these are the things I find everywhere. But again, in the diversity. So I think like everyone express it in a bit different way. And I think you guys in Brazil express it in a different way. But I believe we share a lot of values in common.
For sure.
Nice. So we are going through the end of the episode, but before
I need to sing a song. No, I need to do
something. Yeah, sing a song and dance. No, so just kidding. We have a
Tradition.
Yeah, we have a tradition here in the podcast, and every people that we invite to come here, we ask for them to say a book which was somehow important in their lives. So it's not different for you. So you could say, please, one book that you would indicate for someone which somehow was important for you.
And usually we gifted that afterwards for someone that watched the episode.
Yeah.
So someone we're gonna receive a
good
book.
catch.
Yeah.
So you have to like and share this LinkedIn post from this episode to concour for the book that Vincent is going to indicate
if I
now.
Harry Potter, someone will receive Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So level 3 Harry Potter, not joking. So it's hard to find. So I think one of the it's complicated. What's the other I've chosen? So I
Take risk, my friend. Take risk.
I will send a full version of the dictionary.
French.
So I guess I will probably name something. A book I loved was a book written by Yann Lequin. It's called When the Machine Learns. It was like written by the guy who one of the guys who defined machine learning, and it's to me it was eyes opening in a way. The foundation of AI, the new modern AI was built, and I really love this book. So it's called When the Machine Learns from Yann Lequin. Yann Lequin, for those who don't know, is one of the key pillars at Meta, the lead AI of research at Lequin. And I strongly, usually, I recommend this book because it's a mix of like philosophy, math, but not too much, computer science, the beginning of the computer science. So it's something I think it's probably one of the greatest books on AI. And then I think I love like some kind of a reflecting, on a lot of the evolution. So I'm a big fan of Yuval Noah Harari. The guy I just wrote a book on AI. But the ability he has to reflect on the evolution, human evolution, on why we are now the cognitive capacity. It's very interesting because it's also helping us understand who we are and what will be in the future. So I think it's also a great book I will recommend. Yeah. So 2 books.
Yeah, nice.
You're not the first to recommend 2, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So in reading is good. So
yeah.
So thanks, Vincent.
Yes,
It was a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you for all the crowd, who came today.
First time that we have an applause like this.
And we are not paying them to be here.
Like 3 beers or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Muito obrigado, pessoal,
Muito
por
obrigado.
participar desse episódio. E é isso aí. Muito obrigado. Segunda-feira tem mais. Até lá.